I was in school, studying my A-levels, really supportive parents who pushed me in school. And as much as I love studying, I just wanted to get out into the world. I think I wanted fast results and results that could obtain far quicker than working your way up through the corporate world, up the corporate ladder. And I just knew really from then it had to be sales. So I started my career in property, just a burning desire to get out there into the real world and start to make a success of myself, really. There's times as a salesperson, it can be tough. It can be real tough. You know, I've seen it, I've been there myself. What do I need to change? Something has to change. Can I actually do this? It's a...
Hello and welcome to the Diaries of Success, and today's episode we're going to discuss one of the taboo topics, I would say, in our industry, and it has to do with sales. But before I introduce my guest, I would like to ask a huge favor. As you know, the Diaries of Success, we're trying to aim to get you the best speakers and the best coaches and the best in the industry, you know, to share their expertise and have the conversation with them, what they've done, what they haven't done, and what made them the successful people they are today. But if you don't really follow us and you don't really subscribe to our channel, we might have a little bit of an issue here. So I'm sure you would understand and you would give us a subscribe. And if you like all our episodes, give us, a like, ask us questions in the comment section down below so that we can keep bringing you the best of the best in the industry. Well, my guest for today, he is one of the leading in his industry. He is a sales performance and success coach. Just last year alone, within 4 months, he made over £1 million in sales. That's incredible. Just in 4 months. So without any further ado, I'm glad and very honored to be having Mr. Oliver Hams. Hi,
Hey.
Oliver.
Hey, Haja, how are you?
I'm not bad. How are you doing?
I'm really good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Are you stressed?
No, not at all. No, not stressed at all. Sales managers don't stress.
So, who is Oliver Hams?
Who am I? So my background has always been in sales, really, from a very, very young age. Pretty much straight out of school. I'd probably say I was born in sales, right? I was born a salesman, always looking at a hustle, I guess.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I've developed, spent time in many industries across sales, gone from, from a real corporate world. Traditionally, that's my background.
Okay.
Now working in a field which is very, very different, field that helps people. Field that is really based around mentorship, which is something I'm a huge believer in. And that's pretty much Oliver Hams sussed up. I mean, personally, I'm a husband. I'm a father of two young boys.
Oh.
That's me.
Well, why sales? Because I know you either love it or you don't. Look, there is no in between. So why did you choose sales?
I think for me, I mean, I was in school, I was studying my A-levels. I did fairly well at school. I had really supportive parents who pushed me in school. And I went on to my A-levels. I was doing politics, business and economics. And as much as I love studying, I just wanted to get out into the world. And I wanted fast results and results that, I could obtain far quicker than, working your way up through the corporate world, up the corporate ladder. And I just knew really from then it had to be sales. So I started my property journey, my career in property. It started as an estate agent, straight from school. So that's where it all started off for me. But yeah, it was just a burning desire to get out there into the real world and start to make a success of myself, really.
So at what point or what triggered, what was the your life event that told you, you know what, today I'm not going to be doing this. I'm going to go out there. Because sales, sometimes people do cringe.
Mm.
Oh, I don't want a salesperson. We receive all those phone calls.
Yep.
And I'm like, just yesterday, someone called me and I'm like, are you selling me something? And they said, oh, no, I'm not. Are you selling me something? I asked again. I'm not really. I said, okay, so you're not selling me anything. So what's this conversation going? He said, well, I'm just providing you a service. I said, no, that's a sales conversation we're going to have. But if he was very honest, and I think that's a question for later on. What's the life event that you knew that you were not going to be as cringy as 90% of the salespeople out there and make it?
Life event is, you know, if I had to pinpoint one event, I think that'd be probably pretty difficult. I think the reason that I wanted to succeed in sales is because I had a fantastic upbringing, you know, very supportive parents, great upbringing, never really wanted for much, but very, very humble, very, very humble beginnings. You know, went to normal schools, was in private schools, you know, parents, both hard workers. And I think that I took the mentality of having a skill set and applying hard work would enable me to be successful in something. Yeah. And I think for me, I just knew that it was sales because you're so in control of your own earning capability. There's no ceiling, there is no floor, but there's absolutely no ceiling to what you can earn in sales. Wow. And I think that for me was probably a moment when I said, this is where I need to be.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and it's funny you say about the sleazy side of sales, right? I think that most people have this misconception that the typical salesman is Danny DeVito in Matilda, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a small greasy guy hat, you know. But it's not. It's really not. And you know, if you come from, you know, that sort of mindset that when it comes to selling someone something, it's about providing that service, and it's about understanding a need. And I think that if you can approach sales and adopt a career in sales with that mindset, it is something that you can be successful in.
Do you have to be disciplined in order to do what you're doing?
Absolutely. Again, you know, people misconceive what sales is. It's not you standard 9 to 5 where you come in and you sit inside 4 walls and you speak to people, you sell and you make money. It's not how it works. You know, there's so much that has to go into bettering yourself and committing to a sales role. You know, there are so many different platforms to learn from. There are so many different sales strategies. And what I will say at some points, it can probably become a little bit confusing for people because there are now so many books. There are so many different methods. There are so many different ways to sell what's right, what's wrong. You know, so discipline is most certainly something you have to have because it can be tough. It can be real tough. You know, I've seen it. I've been there myself. There's times as a salesperson, and earlier in my career, I would say, but there's time when you're in the trenches, right? You know, and you have a flat month, then it goes on to a second flat month. And then by the third month, you're kind of like, is sales for me? You know, can I actually do this? And when you're in the trenches, it's tough to see out the other side. So you do have to be disciplined. You do have to be resilient. You do have to have grit. You know, you do have to be able to, you know, press that reset button and say, no, I can do this. I'm good at it. I've done it. What do I need to change? Something has to change. But yeah, discipline, you know, and it's not just in sales. I think discipline is the core principle of most life aspects, right? Whether we're talking in work, in career, in building a career, in family, in life, in training, in food, in your diet, in the way you treat your body. So yeah, it's like I say, for me, discipline is probably one of the core principles.
Beautiful. So what would you think the other values would need to be alongside discipline to be a successful salesperson? And someone's personality, how would you adapt someone's personality to this role?
Tenacious. Yeah, you got to have tenacity. Discipline is probably one of the keys. You have to have the ability to dig deep when times are hard. You have to know that it is going to be tough. It's not smooth sailing. And like I said earlier, you know, that there is no floor in sales, but there's absolutely no ceiling. And, you know, the key attributes of a salesperson are the ability to listen. Yeah, for me, that's probably key. The ability to listen to clients, listen to people, take things on board. The ability to be open to continued learning, working with people, getting yourself a great mentor. Because sales has changed a lot. Real sales has really, really changed.
That was one of the questions I was going to ask you later on.
Yeah, I'll park that there, then we'll come back to that one. But yeah, I think that there's a number of key attributes a person has. I also a believer that in some aspects, salesmen or salespeople, I should say, are made, they're not born. I think that if you come with the core attributes of being disciplined, of being tenacious, of wanting to succeed, that burning hunger, that desire to want to better yourself, I believe that I can work with anyone and make them a great salesperson.
Wow.
Big claim, huh?
How?
Processes are key.
Yeah.
And that probably is my sales performance manager hat on now. Processes are key. The discipline side of things. As I said, I think I'll rephrase that because there are the key attributes you have to have, right? And those attributes are everything I probably just said. So the discipline, the tenacity, the burning desire to want to succeed. There's a very, very simple process when it comes to selling, right? There is a recipe, there's a methodology. If you stick to it, you could be successful. Yeah. Sales is probably one of the main bloodlines of any thriving business. There isn't a business in the world that can survive without sales.
Totally agree with you. Yeah.
Full stop.
If you can't sell, you can't do nothing, isn't it?
Absolutely. And some people can't sell and some people employ salesmen. That's the power of delegation. It's the power of being a great boss and a great leader and a great mentor, right? But I truly believe that with the right core skill set, following the methodology, following the recipe, you can become great at sales.
Do you think anyone should learn how to sell?
I think everyone should have a core understanding of what sales is. And you know what? The word sales itself, I'm not a fan of anymore. Just because it is now so cliche. You know, there is a stereotypical image of a salesperson that everyone has in their mind. And that is that Danny DeVito from Matilda car salesman, right? It's a car salesman. That's what everyone visualizes when they think of a salesperson. But that has just changed dramatically.
So would you replace that word by serving, maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. I think to a degree, understanding, I think the first step in the sales process is understanding someone's needs. Yeah, understanding the gap, understanding what it is they're trying to achieve, and then how do you help them achieve that? So yeah, you can absolutely say that to selling is an element of serving. Yeah, and I think that once you adopt that mindset, I think that you're now in a position where you can do your job better.
Right.
Yeah. If you truly value, if you truly have belief in what it is you're selling, and you truly believe that whatever solution you have is going to improve the life of the person you're selling that solution to, you now become a good salesperson.
But we're always selling, right? I mean, since we were kids.
Absolutely.
We're selling our ideas. We're selling the fact that if I wanted to go to uni, I would have to sell myself to the university and tell them why they should accept me and give me an unconditional offer. Yeah. If I wanted to get married, I have to sell myself to my partner and his family, whatever.
Yeah, every conversation in life is a sell. It is. It really is. Like you say, you know, we can talk about marriage. We can talk about having children. We can talk about university applications. You know, everything in life is sell. But we'll even talk about now. I'm a father of two. I have two sons. When I'm trying to negotiate to put them to bed at night, it's a sell. I'll give you 10 more minutes on your iPad, but you go to bed in 10 minutes. It's a sell, right? So, you know, every conversation in life, there's a sell involved somewhere.
Well, it's just that we try to get our brains not to accept it.
Yes.
But how about the environment we're in? Because I've seen other environments where they know that someone is selling to them. I personally accept it. You know why? Because I know I will buy regardless.
Yeah.
If
you want it, right?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah.
And if I know I will need it.
Yeah.
So, and I realized that the way I buy is the way I'm going to sell to people. So if I want quality things and I'm looking for the best, it's what I'm going to sell to others.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the best person out there to provide the best service out there so I can sell the best of my ideas.
Yeah.
So why is environment very important? And I'm gonna tap into two different areas of the world. So for example, in America, they're very open-minded to this, and they don't see it as a cringe or as a taboo. Whereas in the UK, we're more towards, oh, no. I don't want to be sold to.
Yeah.
So
I think in the UK, we're also conscious of the fact that we are always being sold to, right? Whether that's in the media, any interaction, we're conscious of the fact that we are always being sold to. And again, in the UK, it's a stigmatized industry. It is that stereotypical, that's a salesperson, or don't deal with salespeople. And I think that in some circumstances, people will more often deprive themselves of what it is they want because they don't want to be sold to. Yeah. And I think that's because sales has changed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's because it has. And I think with a lot of the companies that I've worked with in the UK, they have a very traditional sales method, and it's probably somewhat outdated. And here's the thing, right? Here's what's key. And I think this is what a lot of people fail to understand. We have the internet.
Yeah.
And the internet is a wealth of knowledge.
Right.
More often than not, when somebody steps into your arena for a sales conversation, they are probably more educated than you on what the alternatives are in the marketplace. Right? So you have to approach these circumstances with the mindset that you're going to provide the service that is going to help them achieve what they want to achieve. Because we can sometimes, as salespeople, be very, very closed books, and it's our way or the highway. This is what it is how it works, this is how much it costs. And that is your traditional sort of methodology that most companies would employ. We do this is what it costs, and that's our service. And I think that's why, as human nature, I think that's why we often close down and shut down when we hear a salesperson on the phone or we're being sold to, we just automatically shut down.
So you said something very, very interesting that I want to tap back into. And you said the old methodologies.
Yep.
You and I have been watching a video a few days ago where someone is in 2023 on YouTube still telling people how to close using the method that was invented in 1970 something.
Yeah, 80s sales methods, yeah. So look, I mean, probably one of the most powerful sales books I've ever read is Brian Tracy, The Psychology of Selling, right? And it is a book from the 80s. Buyers have changed. They are more well educated. They know what's out there. I think that the outdated methods are the very traditional ways of selling. So once I left the estate agency sort of spectrum that I was in, and it did evolve over time. It went into property development and property investing. But once I moved on, I went into the city, I went into Canary Wharf, and I went into the financial world. And we were selling regulated products, and it was dealing with people's portfolios. And the ways that you're taught there are very, very traditional. It's things like the alternative choice close, right? And the alternative choice close, as an example, Hadger is, do you want the pink chair or the blue chair? Will you be paying on this card or that card? It shuts you down because I don't know if you want a chair. Yeah. I don't know if you want to pay on a card. You might want to do it on finance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Things like that sort of closing, those sort of closing methods just now trigger that shutdown. And human behavior, for me, plays such a huge part in sales because you don't want to trigger that. Because once you trigger that, you've lost the sale, right?
So in today's world, how would you sell that? I mean, how you said now, cash or card?
Yeah.
This or that. How would you approach it? What would you replace it with, in other words?
I don't think that there is a direct replacement to, instead of saying this.
Yeah.
Because now, by the time that let's say you're going through a sales process, right? That's essentially the end of the call, the end of the interview, the end of the meeting. It's your sale. The job should be done during the process. So as a salesperson, my job and the training that I do is to teach people to paint a picture.
Yeah.
And you need to have your client's way of thinking come around from what they think is right for them to showing them and teaching them that actually what they need is your way of thinking, right?
Yeah.
So it's about understanding their current situation,
Right.
their problems. So we can ask problem awareness questions, their situations.
Yeah.
So we can ask situational awareness questions, and trying to paint a picture for them. How would life look in 6, 12, 18 months?
Right.
Firstly, if you don't do this, but secondly, if you did do this. So as a salesperson, I think your job now is to create and help people to understand that there's a gap, in something they're doing. So we have to take them from where they are, where they want to be and what does that gap look like. And that's where our solution comes in, right? And if we can change their way of thinking, that what they have now is not working, and we can demonstrate how the solution that we have helps them reach the goals, the desires that they want.
Right.
That's doing the sales job properly. Yeah. And then the job is done there. And then when it comes to the close, it's a presentation. Yeah. It's not how are you going to pay for this? It's a presentation. It's a conversation. People don't want to be sold to.
Yeah.
As salespeople, yeah, we're selling. Yeah. Okay, we want to help you succeed. We do this job for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
We like shiny things. We work on commission. We want to make this out. But if you can do that while helping someone,
Yeah.
that's when you really, really excel. And I think that's how people need to be sold to. And I think that's how that's what salespeople need to understand.
Do you think it's a one size fits all?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I mean, I think it massively depends on what you're selling. Obviously, my role now is sales performance manager and success coach. I work with Assets for Life, and we are in real estate, property, education, and wealth academy. You've had great successes working with us.
Yeah.
Liam, CEO, is one of my mentors. And what we sell now is we sell further education.
Right.
Mentoring, helping people achieve their goals. Now, everyone I cross paths with is at a different stage in their life. Some of them are already successful property entrepreneurs, developers, landlords who want to build on their portfolio. Some of those are people who are just starting out. Some of those are in a 9-to-5 rat race, some of them that want to get out of their job and start to build a legacy for their family, have more time, have more freedom, right? So there's not a one size fits all in that particular industry. And I think it's probably fair to say there isn't in any industry, because everyone's looking for something different. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think having that adaptability as a salesperson is where the real power is. Yeah.
I've realized that because I used to hate sales.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to be like part of the 90% of people who used to say, oh no, salespeople are bad. All they want is just to sell you this, to push their product, and they don't really know. But now I'm a big believer that if you can't sell, you can't speak, you can't do nothing.
Yeah.
Right? And it's funny that you said some people do have things on the side. I used to be like, anything but just not sales.
Yeah.
Anything, Put me on any stage But then I realized one of the best, people who can do anything, just like you mentioned Liam Ryan, my mentor as well. Whatever he's doing, he's just selling, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's great at it because he's serving people. Yeah. He's helping them to achieve. And don't get me wrong, if he didn't sell to me, I wouldn't be a success story today.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wouldn't be running 7-figure businesses. I wouldn't be where I am. I would still be the person I was 5 years ago, working in Selfridges, maximum hours, minimum wage. But just because someone has managed to show me something else or a different type of, I would say maybe a vision.
Yeah.
Just having that vision right there. So would you, because you said earlier that you tell people about their choices. You paint in that picture into their head. This is what you're going to have if you come with us. This is what you're going to get if you get this product, and so on. But sometimes people do confuse marketing and sales. There is a very, very fine line between the two, right? So where do you think the two stand?
Okay. First of all, what I'll say is congratulations to you, Hadja, because, you, over the last 4 years, working alongside Assets for Life, have just killed it.
Thank you.
You are a huge, huge success. So well done to you. And it's funny what you say. It's really right what you say, because Liam is a fantastic salesperson. But what Liam is also is an excellent mentor, because he has the ability to help anyone create a successful, profitable property business. He can sell with conviction. Yeah. So he's great at building that picture of where you are, what's achievable and where you want to be and what you need for it. So the sell isn't a sell.
So,
Yeah.
oh my God, you hit the nail. I mean, hit the nail on the head. You just said something very interesting right there. Is be believing in your product, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's the key. I mean, you can't sell something that you don't believe in. You have to be able to sell with conviction. You have to.
Give me an example.
Okay, so let's say, for example, we sell our mentorship programs. I have every single belief down to my core that every single person who work with us at Assets for Life can achieve their goals. Yeah, the company's plan is to create 10,000 millionaires through property. I am fully on board with this. I believe we can achieve it, and I believe we can achieve it fast. And I think we can do it for anyone. I don't think you have to be from a certain criteria. I don't think you have to be from a certain background. We have people from all walks of life. I mean, Hadji, you were new to the country, fairly new to the country. You were working in retail. You had no property background. And look at the success you've made for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We have people that come to us who have huge property portfolios, want to go on to becoming a developer, want to learn about developing land, turning garages into homes, whatever it may be. And we can help those people. And we have helped those people. When you believe in the product that you're selling,
Right.
you can sell with conviction, because you know that whatever these people do with you, they have every opportunity to become a success. Full stop.
Right.
And when you have that conviction, when you have that belief in your product, you can sell it. An example of selling something without conviction would be someone traditionally in your telesales. So you said you had a call the other day, right?
Oh gosh.
Did we get to what the basis of what the person was trying to sell? What are they trying to sell you?
They were trying to sell me electricity services because now everything is going high and
Utility bills, yeah.
yes,
Yeah. Okay.
and then how I can cut down in my energy bills. But look, I think the first core element, right? The first core element in sales to me, because you said that a set of values earlier, you mentioned the set of values earlier. I think the first thing was honesty.
Yeah.
When that person called me, with all due respect to companies using or outsourcing salespeople from different countries, I can tell that the person speaking to me on the other side was not someone from the UK.
Okay.
Someone definitely from a different country. Could
Yep.
be India, Pakistan, it doesn't really matter. But I know for a fact that they're not a Jamie. So for you to tell me that your name is Jamie and I know for a fact that you are not, that already breaks that, that
Yeah.
kind of trust. How
Yeah.
do I trust you if I know you're not who you are?
Yeah. You're not using your real name.
You're not.
Yeah,
You're
I
not
get it.
pretending to be someone else. That's the first thing. So that in my head switches me off from wanting to have the conversation with you.
And there's your biggest problem, right? So call centers just don't work. They may have done years ago, well before my time in selling, but they don't work in today's society. As I said, people are so well educated. Yeah. You know what's going on with the utility bills. You don't need someone to tell you that. What you need to know is how is that person going to help you save money on utility bills, right?
Yeah.
So that's the first problem. They just don't work. They're outdated. And that's the difference between companies that become great, companies that become successful, and companies that stay here,
Yeah.
and companies that close.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because again, they fail to understand sales is an integral part of any business. Without sales, there is no business. Full stop. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you fail to understand it and you fail to adapt and you fail to, build out a great sales team, you're not going to reach the levels that you want to reach as a company.
So do you reckon that all those companies are just getting anyone and everyone just to do the job?
It's evident, do you not think? If you're getting a call center from Jamie somewhere, it's evident.
I totally agree with you. I mean, look, I receive calls on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And there are some that actually did get me to speak to them, at least have the conversation with them.
Yeah.
When someone just picks up like, look, I know you must have a very busy schedule, but if you give me 2 minutes, I just have something interesting. If you're not, it's okay for you to finish the conversation. Or if this is not the right time, we can reschedule it for another time. I completely appreciate the honesty. And I really like the fact that they addressed the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Because it could be that they've called me in a wrong time and then trying to push makes me hate talking to them. See what I mean?
It's lack of confidence though, right? From the salesperson's perspective. Are you selling me? No, I'm not. Well, you are.
Yeah.
You know you're selling me. It's a sales call, which is cool. I'm okay to be sold to.
Yeah.
if it's something I need, I'm willing to entertain a conversation, but don't tell me you're not going to sell to me because I'm just not going to tolerate it, right?
Exactly.
And that's the truth of the situation.
Or the first thing they say, oh, can I speak to the owner of, they get my company's name from maybe my website, but they just don't do a thorough research to know my first name and my last name. Can I speak to the director of Mona Lisa Property? Who's this? Yeah, but are you the director of Mona Lisa Property? They're giving me attitude.
Yeah.
And I'm the person who is supposed to be.
Honestly, and that's, that's failing to prepare for your calls, and I'm big on that. I'm real big on that. If you go into a call unprepared, that's like a strict no for me.
Yeah.
That for me is like a instant dismissal kind of thing. You'd never go into a sales call unprepared. But again, it's triggering that flight mode. Yeah, it's triggering the flight mode, and that's the biggest problem people have. They don't know how to approach the call properly. It's the same thing. You get a sales call. Hello, is that Oliver? Yeah, speaking. It's John here from XYZ. How's your day been? Listen, thanks for your call. You don't know each other. You don't need to know how my day's been. See you later.
Yeah.
You can move on. Yeah. And again, it's just your traditional way. It's the formalities of a script. These people are given scripts and they're told to call people, read the script, dial. It's all about the dials. It's not what it's about. Yeah, it's about learning what you need to do.
Yeah, Oliver, oh my God. I'm loving this conversation, by the way.
Good. So am I.
And because we're giving life examples, right? Yeah. One thing that also caught my attention is when people call you and they try to be aggressive. And I think they don't understand the difference between being ruthless and understanding and being aggressive. And they go, do you think that has to do with the fact that their trainers haven't trained them properly? Or do you think it's because the salesperson is trying to prove themselves too much to a point where they get lost in the process?
Probably an element of both. Yes, you have to be affirmative. Yes, you have to be in control. Of course, but there's ways to do it.
Yeah.
And aggression is not the way. It's really, really not. But Hadja, I'll be honest, I've been there. Again, salespeople are still human beings, right? They're still people. We don't know what's going on in that person's life.
Yeah.
We don't know if they've had a bad day. All right, we're on the receiving end. So we're like, no thanks, tell up, bye-bye. But, and I've had it before. I've had it before. I've had people call me up and they try to be aggressive and I just pause and go, and I'll reverse it.
Yeah.
It's a bit of fun for me. I say, Hadja, you all right? You had a bad day? And I actually end up having a fun conversation with people sometimes. Salespeople that are trying to sell me. But yeah, it's just not, that is just not the way to do things, yeah? It's not how you take control of a call. It's because the lack of training has led you into a position where the way you command authority is by being that aggressive person. That's not it. The way you command authority is by gaining that person's respect.
Yeah.
The way you do that is by respecting them, making sure you're prepared for your call and you've done your research. Yeah, not hi, is that Mona Lisa Property? Yeah, understand. Know who you're calling, know who you're speaking to, have an agenda for what you're speaking about, and come from that mentality that you are trying to help these people because they'll then respect you. Right. That's how you command a conversation. Yeah, not by being aggressive.
Well, thank you very much. I'm loving this, and I'm sure our audience is also loving this. So I have got a surprise prepared for you.
Okay.
We've got a game that we're going to play together.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm trying to adapt this with every single one of our guests. And let's see, because I want to talk to your subconscious.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm going to fire questions and you choose.
Yep.
But before that, I want to thank our audience because, you've stayed and watched us until here. And that shows that you're really interested in what we are giving you. So why don't you give us a subscribe and follow us on our social platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We're going to provide you with extra length of knowledge. So let's go back to the podcast.
Quick
fire round. And I am going to give you just 2 seconds to answer.
Cool.
Okay?
All right, let's do it.
Right. So most of them are going to be sales related.
Yep.
Okay? Industry related. So the first one would be in terms of sales, the English way to sell or the American style sales.
No difference for me.
Right. We'll come back to some of the questions later on. Yeah. Your wife or your children?
Children.
Oh my God.
Sorry, I love you.
I hope the wife is not listening to this.
Yeah. Children.
Making money or spending money?
Make him.
Grant Cardone or Jordan Belfort?
Belfort.
One high ticket sales or 10 low ticket sales?
10 low.
Ooh, interesting. iPhone or Samsung?
iPhone.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, that was quick fire round.
You threw me under the bus, had ya?
Did I?
Yeah, wife or children.
I did. I'm going to send her a letter.
Yeah.
Just had a card and a bouquet of
And
flowers.
she will listen back to this. She will listen back.
And name it Oliver Hans. Well, let's go back to some of those
Yeah. Let's
questions.
revisit some.
I'm not going to say why the wife or the children. It's up to you to explain that later on. You said Jordan Belfort over Grant Cardone. How?
It's a tough question. It's a tough question. For me, Jordan Belfort, and we can look at his history. We can look at how what he did was wrong. Yeah, it was wrong, completely. But he was still a phenomenal salesperson. He still created a team of phenomenal salespeople. And, I would probably say 90% of the population have seen The Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
This man had the ability to work with ex-criminals, car salesmen, people who never worked in sales before, waiters, people in the restaurant industry, and turn them into great salespeople. Ignoring his methodology and ignoring what he done as a sales leader, that's a skill. To be able to take anyone from any walk of life, be able to transfer your skills onto them, and so they become great. I'm sorry, but you can't take away from how good he was at training people to sell and how great of a salesperson he was. That's why I'm going with Belfort.
Right. Do you think he is... because, that's back in the days.
Yeah.
Right? Grant Cardone is
Very
someone
current.
who is using the current methods and he's very successful. So do you think he's still... Like, Jordan Belfort is still up in the game until now still?
Outdated methods, but absolutely one of the greatest in terms of sales ability. And, what's key is you said Jordan Belfort or Grant Cardone. I like them both. I think they're both fantastic what they do.
Right.
And Grant Cardone with his whole 10X platform and the way that he sells is very, very modern. And he's had such a long career. I mean, I think, and it really surprised me actually. I think he's in his 60s. I think
He is
62 or something.
He is, yeah.
So he's been through all of the cycles.
Yeah.
He's adapted. Yeah. That's important. I guess that's probably very important. He's had the ability to adapt. Yeah. And move with the times and still create good salespeople. So, we're going to re-ask that question. Grant Cardone and Jordan Belfort, we're going to go equal. Yeah, equally. They're equally as good as each other.
Right. Okay. I accept that.
Yeah.
You said 10 low tickets and comparing to one high ticket.
Yeah, definitely.
Can you explain?
Yeah, of course I can. So one high ticket, if we look at the journey of a the sales journey, it works almost like a funnel. We take someone on a journey. A low ticket's normally probably going to be your first entry, your entry point, first deal you do with someone. High ticket's coming to the end of that journey, right? If you have true belief in what you're selling, if you know that the products you sell, people are going to benefit from and change their lives, I will have the opportunity to work with those people over the next 5-10 years and continue to work with them and help them better themselves, which ultimately results in further sales. When you come to that point of the high ticket, you're normally at the end of your journey. So it's about instant gratification, doing a deal now and it's done, or being open-minded, understanding that it's all about the business. It's not about you remove yourself as an individual. It's about the business. Everything we do is about the business. 10 low ticket every time. So I'll grow with them people. Those people will grow with me.
And then those 10 low tickets, you have the possibility to maybe 30% of that would be high ticket, isn't it?
There we go.
Upgrade them to...
Absolutely. Absolutely. They the path that you go on naturally in sales is low ticket to a high ticket product. So it's like one high ticket product or a potential 10 high ticket products, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, 10 low tickets is my answer. Final answer.
Beautiful. Beautiful. No. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm loving this. I wanted to tap also on the fact you wanted, obviously, making money over spending money. Because a lot of people be like, oh, I love to spend money. You like to make money.
Can't spend without making, first of all. You can, for me, now I have children. It's about doing the very, very best you can for your children, right?
So you make, they spend.
Yes, that's it. That's exactly it. I make, wife spends. Yeah.
Is that why you chose children?
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly why. No. It's making for me because those they're just rewards, right? They're rewards, holidays, the nice things in life, the cars, the shiny things, right? They're the rewards. I use those as a way of rewarding myself. So I'll set myself targets. I'll set myself goals. Those goals can sometimes be financially based. And then I reward myself with things like holidays. I think many people get caught in a life cycle trap where a holiday becomes an escape. Yeah. So you hear it all the time. And it's, I've been working so hard. I need a break. I need a holiday. And I think when you're in that mindset, that is part of the rat race, right? We work, take minus your holiday. You work, 50 weeks of the year and you get 2 weeks off. That's your holiday. That's your once a year. I love to travel. Yeah. I'm away this year, probably 6 or 7 times. I love to travel with my wife, with my kids, and also alone. I'm heading off to Thailand. Thailand in a couple of weeks on a retreat with the Assets for Life family with Liam. Yeah. So I'm heading over there in a couple of weeks. I'm doing that alone. I'm not taking a wife. I'm not taking the children. That's a reward. I've worked hard. I've worked extremely hard over the last quarter of last year and moving into this year. That's a reward for me. Yeah, it's not. I need a break. I'm going to take it out. So I think they kind of go hand in hand. For me, I make the money. I do well. I reward myself for making the money. Beautiful. So yeah, making money over the holiday.
So making money and then spending it.
Then spend it.
And then so many people don't understand the fact that, I'm saving money. They don't understand if they want to spend more, they have to make more.
Right. So let's talk about that. So you've got a scarcity mindset, right?
Yeah.
And you've got an abundance mindset. And the whole thing about an abundance mindset was really come to light in a book called The 7 Effectives of Highly Successful People.
Yes, I love that.
The name escapes me now. 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, right? Yeah. There we go. Now, there's a scarcity and there's an abundance. And if we try to generalize that, a scarcity mindset of there's not enough, I need to save. An abundance mindset is there's plenty, let me go out and get it, right? And that mindset plays a massive part on people's lives. So people don't realize that because that scarcity mindset, what it does, Hadra, is it consumes so much brain bandwidth in your thought process. It creates brain fog. Yeah. It stops you from being able to better yourself, to plan. And the abundance mindset doesn't. But what's funny, and the way I look at a scarcity mindset, is selfish. It is a selfish mindset. And there's something that, there's something that I do. There's something you can do. You can go out today, and if everyone listening did this, right, it'd have a great ripple effect. Go out today, buy the person in Starbucks behind you a cup of coffee, yeah? Buy a homeless person on the corner something to eat.
Yeah.
Understand that giving away a small portion of what you have does not affect your life.
Yeah.
Will help you abolish a scarcity mindset. And if everyone did that today, listening to this, and then someone else did it, it'd have a ripple effect.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And that's how you get rid of a scarcity mindset. It's not an overnight process. I'm not saying go downstairs, buy someone a cup of coffee. It doesn't work like that. But what it will start to teach you is that I do have enough. Yeah. The extra £3.50 on a cup of coffee, I'm still okay.
It makes you feel good as well.
Absolutely. And that's how you can reprogram. You've got to be open-minded to reprogram. And you're never too old to learn, never too old to change our ways. Some people say, I'm too old. I'm stuck in my ways. You're not. We can reprogram ourselves and we can do these little things.
Yeah, I had a guest the other day and he donated, I think, £300 during Christmas. Mm-hmm. And one of the ladies was like, I actually told my kids that Christmas this year was cancelled because I only had 86p in my bank account. And the £100 just made her really, really happy to a point where she cried. Yeah. And he thought it was just, he thought that this was just a lie, And then he contacted the lady. And in fact, that was true. And he said, have I not thought about this? I've probably not had that feeling that money became really worthless and priceless comparing to the amount of emotion she given him just by thanking him and explaining her reason why.
Yeah.
So I think, yes, making money is great, but knowing how to spend it and how to share it, and that we have a responsibility of other people as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what I've done is, like I said, you know what? I'm going to match that and do the exact same thing and try to inspire others through this podcast to do the same thing.
Do you know what, Hadja? I'll match you. I'll do exactly the same thing. How about that?
There you go.
And if we can get 2, 3, 4, 5 of the listeners to do the same thing, that's where the ripple effect comes in, right?
Do you know
that's
what?
how we make the world a better place.
Thank you so much.
No, I'm all in. I'm in.
You see, there you go. And I'm sure there's so many of us here listening to us. Sometimes they listen to like, oh, you guys are making a lot of money and da-da-da-da. But no, we are also helping lives and we're also inspiring others. And this is the beauty of this industry, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's the difference as well between that scarcity and the abundance in mindset, right? I am fully confident in my ability as a great salesperson that if I can improve someone's life, if I can help someone by donating £100, I'm confident in my ability. I will go out and make that again. It's not a problem.
Yeah.
So it's like, and how is that really going to affect me? You know, it's not going to stop me. And it's different. I get it. Some people can't afford to do it. You know, if it stops you putting food on the table, completely, I understand.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it's not going to stop me feeding my children. It's not going to stop me putting food on the table. So why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Absolutely. Totally agree. And I'm going to hold you accountable.
I'm accountable.
We are holding you.
Yeah, we're in. It's fine. I mean, I'm all in.
Beautiful. Well, the last one I'm going to come back to is the American model versus, you know, everyone else's model.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
the reason why I asked this question, because I've noticed that Americans, when they do sell, the audience is they're not skeptical. They're very welcoming. Yeah, I understand what you're doing. I'm happy with it. If I like it, I'll take it. If I don't like it, thank you very much. So what's your thoughts about that?
Right. So I think there's a couple of key things there, right? I think it's probably understanding in what capacity people are sold to, how they're being sold to. And we discussed earlier about the psychology of selling. And I think that's what it boils down to. I don't think it matters on the audience. I don't think it matters geographical locations. I don't think it matters on the product. I think what matters is if you do your job correctly, using the right methodology, painting that picture, understanding that sales is a psychology and it's not a battle. And that's the problem, right? That's the big thing. It's often a battle. It's you versus me. Yeah, who's going to win? If I get the sale, I win. If I don't, I don't, right? If we work in tandem with each other.
Do you think it's target related?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's huge targets, right? And yeah, I think that people feel that pressure and they're forced to do it. But again, massive misconceptions of what a sales team are. Yes, you have targets. And this is where the sales performance stuff comes in, right? Traditionally speaking, there's a sales manager. G up the team, come on guys, great. This is what we do, this is how we do it. Sales training, boom, boom, boom. We're a great sales team. Woo. Then there's the sales performance side. The sales performance side is understanding your key performance indicators. So understanding the client journey, understanding what it takes to get a client from A to B. Yeah, that's how you produce figures.
Right.
That's how you can now start to set targets. Yeah, because if we want to reach X amount of money in 6 months, what do we do today to start building those foundations? It's not let's get in the office 9 till 5. We've got to make more dials. That's where the targets comes in. That's where the combativeness comes in between the salesperson and the person they're trying to sell to. It's where the pressure comes from. That's where people foul. Yeah, that's where people foul. So the sales performance element of a sales manager is how you excel. It's how you start to set those goals. It's how you start to set those targets. You start working today for what we want to achieve in June, what we want to achieve in July. Yeah. And that's how you can start to remove the real aggressive targets. You know, do your $500 a day. Make sure you close X amount of business today.
Right.
Because we're able to forecast what we're going to do. That's the difference between sales manager, sales performance manager.
Yeah.
And I think that with the creation of the sales performance role, it's fairly new. I mean, if you try to Google the role of a sales performance manager or try to look at job listings for a sales performance manager, you won't see any. Because it's forward-thinking companies. It's companies that are leading from the front that understand what that role is. And that's how you create a great salesperson. By having things like sales performance managers, you take the targets away. We make sure that we're doing everything we can to help them, support them in their job to reach their goals.
So that's not going to create some sort of competition in the team members? Because the reason why I'm asking this is when I was working in Selfridges, I was working for a perfume brand.
Yep.
And being someone who speaks different languages, that means I have more chance to communicate and connect and have a relationship with a lot of the customers. So
Yep.
I speak Arabic.
Yep.
I can sell to someone who is from the Arab world. Because people, we know Arabs do have the
Yep.
money to buy and
Absolutely.
afford. If there is a French person, I'll still be able to do the sell. If there is an English person, I'll still be able to do that. If there's a Turkish person, I still can communicate with them. Whereas the other team members, not necessarily do have that kind of flexibility.
Yeah.
So it did create a bit of tension where I was reaching out my goals. They were not.
Okay.
Because the customers would prefer to speak to me rather than the others. So do you think that someone who is actually high qualified in your team and someone who's not or doesn't have that flexibility will create some tension within the team?
Potentially, but it leads back to what we were saying earlier, Hadja, right? It leads back to what is required to be a great salesperson, right? And we can go back to that because we said there's the core attributes that you need to become great, but it's not a 9 to 5 inside of 4 walls. There's so much additional learning. Now, you've taken that time, Hadja, to better yourself. You don't have a Netflix subscription. You learn languages, yeah? You don't play a PlayStation. You learn a second, a third, a fourth. What is it, like 5 languages you speak? Am I right? 5?
Yes.
Right, exactly. So you've put the time, the effort, and you've put that into learning that. That led to you being a great salesperson, yeah? For the person that wants to turn up to work and view sales as a job, they're not going to hit their goals. So yes, it can provide it can create tension. My job as a sales and performance manager is to make sure I recruit the right type of people that are willing to do the work, are willing to put the hours in, are willing to better themselves, are willing to find a mentor, are willing to ask for help, are willing to let go of their ego, are willing to understand that they need to learn more, that we don't know it all. That's how you create great salespeople. That's how you create a winning team.
You tapped into something very... one of the things that I had to really work on myself, and you said ego.
Yeah.
How is the proportion between being a salesperson and having a...
Depends what stage
Ego.
you're at, I think, in your career as a salesperson, right? So when I first come into sales, I was 17 years of age. Yeah. 17 years ago. I'm giving my age away now.
That was 3 years ago?
Yeah. 17 years ago.
Wow.
So I'll be turning 34 in 2 weeks, actually, on the 27th of Jan. So, yeah. And
Looking great, by the way.
Thank you. This is skincare. Buy this cream, Sal. No, and I did have that ego. I liked the shiny things, right? I had the fast convertible sports cars. I had the watches. I had, I had the first class flights. I wanted to drink champagne. I wanted it on social medias. That's fine. That's ego. Yeah.
Do you reckon?
Massively.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What else is it? What are you trying to prove?
Yeah.
Yeah?
But
to a degree, right?
to a degree, yeah. Because, look, I like brands.
Right. I still like the shiny things. But now it's a bigger picture for me, right?
For yourself, not for someone else.
For me, yeah, I still like the shiny things, right? I still like the fast cars. I do, but it's not all about the fast cars.
Yeah.
And I live quite a private life. I'm not very out there on social media. My form of social media is LinkedIn because I use it in a professional capacity.
Right.
I have thousands and thousands. I think it's 20-something thousand followers on LinkedIn now, right? And that's what I use because that's how I want to use it. I don't use social media. Like I have an Instagram. It's quite personal, yeah? I don't necessarily use it for displaying my achievements because that for me is... it's just a no-no, right? Because I've managed to strip that ego back bare.
Right.
And I think that the journey that I'm on now, success isn't defined by a materialistic object, where for a lot of salespeople it is. And for me now, the journey that I'm on, it's about, as I said, I love the shiny things, right? And I'm being brutally honest, I do.
Do you know how many times you repeated that?
I know, I want to make it clear.
Psychologically.
But the journey that I'm on now is how many lives can I improve? Yeah. How many people's lives can I have a positive impact on?
Because that's a positive proportion on how it goes, right?
That's exactly right.
The more you...
Right. And that's the balance between ego. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's the balance.
Yeah.
Making sure I'm doing right by someone else, but enjoying the finer things that I want to enjoy.
Now, the psychology of money.
Yeah.
Because we've literally just been speaking about it right now. Money is a taboo in our country. Oh no, money doesn't buy me happiness, and I'd rather have this, I'd rather have that. Family and love and support. How do you perceive that?
Money buys you time. Money buys you freedom. For me, that's happiness. So does money buy me happiness? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right? I think it's how people perceive money. I think it comes a lot from the scarcity and the abundancy mindset. Yeah. People that have a scarcity mindset don't fully understand that. That's how I view it. I view it as a tool. Yeah. For me, it's an energy flow. I'm big on that. I'm big on sort of energies. And for me, money's an energy flow, right? So if I see a penny on the floor, I pick a penny up because it's not about the nominal value. It's not about what it's worth. Yeah. It's about the fact I'm in receiving mode, right?
Yeah. How about the myth of money is the root of all evil?
Is it? For me, it's not.
To me, it's not either, but I want to have your views on it.
No, I don't think money is the root of all evil. We've spoken very heavily today about giving back, about charity, about helping other people's lives improve. That's not evil. That's fantastic. You know, we're doing good with it, right?
Yeah.
And as long as you continue to do that, as long as you help other people, as long as you use money for positive things, then no, it's absolutely not the root of all evil.
And I think, to me, I think the money brings your real you to the world. So if you are actually an evil person, it's just going to make you a bit of a dickhead. Or, more of that, actually. But if you're actually a nice person, it's just going to help you to do nice things.
Shall I be honest? I've probably been there, Hadja. I've probably been there in my younger years when I was earning the big bucks and like a bit of a dickhead.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's your ego, right? It's your ego kicking in. You want that's why you want that stuff. And it probably did make me a bit of a dickhead. But I think as you evolve as a person and as you grow, and that's by doing everything we speak about. That's by bettering yourself. It's by educating yourself more. That's by working with fantastic people, surrounding yourself by great people. For a long time, I felt like I was probably one of the smartest in the room. And it probably sounds terrible me saying that, but that's when my ego kicked in. Yeah. And that's when I probably was a complete dickhead. But when I bettered myself and when I changed my circle and when I got into somewhere where I realized I can learn from people, I can develop here, I can build as a person, that's when it all changes.
Right. I did suffer a bit with ego as well.
Yeah.
But I think, you know what, to a certain extent, I think every one of us still have a percentage that we need to manage.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'm working on it. I work on myself quite a lot, and I think I'm evolving as well. And Liam, as my mentor the other day, he said, I'll challenge you. I said, I don't have a big ego. He said, no, I'll challenge you. And he brought up a situation. He said, what was that? I said, oh, yes, probably my ego that kicked in, but always being a person who is real, always being a person who is loving and caring and wants more to people and puts others maybe not in the same position as yourself, but then also caring about others, not being careless at all. I think it's very, very important for us to move forward in life, isn't it?
Absolutely. And, like you say, I think this ego carries a very negative sort of connotation with it, that having an ego is bad. It's not necessarily bad. There is going to be some form of egotistical behavior in everything we do as successful people. Yeah, because it is the want, it is the drive, it is the desire for more that keeps us moving forward, that keeps us wanting to reach the next level, that keeps us wanting to hit the next target. Yeah, ego is gonna play a factor in that in some degree, to some degree, right? So I don't think that as a successful person you want to completely rid your ego. I think you want to be mindful of it and understand how to manage it. Yeah, but don't get rid of it.
Yeah. Don't feed it and don't get rid of
Don't
it.
feed it. Don't get rid of it.
Well, very interesting conversation I'm having with you. But again, unfortunately, we have to wrap up. But before we do, what's the one thing that you would suggest our audience to do? Whoever wants to start in, a business or want to become a better person or want to tap into sales.
Yeah.
So what's the one thing you would, 1, 2, 3, doesn't really matter. What would you say?
First things first, understand your why. Yeah, understand your why. Why is it that you want to do that? Why do you want to be successful? Why do you want to be in sales? Understanding that is the key. Yeah. Second thing is be open to learning, be adaptable, go out there, get a great mentor, find someone who can help you get fast track results. And number 3 is be adaptable and move and just do it.
Great. Take action.
Take action.
Well, thank you so much, Oliver, for being here with us. And before we finish, how do people contact you? You said LinkedIn?
Yep, I'm on LinkedIn. Oliver Hams, you'll find me on LinkedIn. So yeah, feel free to reach out there.
Perfect. Well, I would love to hear more of the sales techniques and how to be in sales. So maybe we will push you to open a YouTube channel. Be more on social media.
Why not?
Be more on Instagram. And
Yeah, I'll open an Instagram tonight just so you, Haja.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Oliver, again. Well, guys, I hope you really enjoyed this episode of podcast. Again, do give us a subscribe, like our episodes. If you don't like, tell us what you don't like about them. What are the things you want us to ask the next questions? And who do you want to see here in this studio with us? Until next time, take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next episode.